Not too much of an intro. I first want to qualify by saying I don't mind YouTube making changes. I understand they have to make the platform better and better and better. My issue is they didn't notify really anybody. They didn't, I mean, everyone uses different streaming hardware or software. In my case, how they're doing it, now that I kind of I'm not saying I understand it. In my case, I can see where I can benefit from it. When I first got it set up, I'm like, oh, okay. There is no more setting it up and it's going to send out notifications. Not that I can see 30 minutes ahead and you guys can kind of group in. And then I go to OBS and then start. I have to start it in OBS and use my filler screen for that 30 minutes. The drawback to doing it that way is YouTube sees it as the stream started 30 minutes ago. Another disadvantage to it is I take that 30-minute window because the YouTube card is up. Whatever I do in OBS doesn't affect YouTube. Okay, I can adjust my amp settings, I can get all my mics working right. Just really sat down and realized, oh, you know, because I was still setting up Linnell's microphone and stuff after I started the stream because I was just using my starting soon screen in OBS. I can't set levels because in that screen I had everything off. So I got pretty fortunate. I love a tube amp. Tubes just, there's something, and you know, wintertime's coming, guys. It's time to put your solid state and your modeling amps away. Because if you don't know, I'm kind of a right winger. So the one thing I do lean kind of left on is, especially if you have a wood burner, okay? If you're heating your house with wood, think about how many guitars can't be created if you're heating your house with wood. Here's a better idea. Buy some tube amplifiers and leave those on and heat your house with 6L6 tubes. So winter's coming, guys. Time to break out the tube amps. Keep your house nice and toasty. Just joking. I get it. If you have enough modeling amps, I guess that would create enough electricity enough heat through the electricity to heat your house. Well, if you've read the title, tonight, it's IYV night. We have 1, 2, 3 IYVs to look over. If you're on Discord, you kind of know these two guitars were posted about 3 weeks ago for sale. Actually, all three of these guitars came from the same person. He listed this one. I got this one for $80. This one was professionally set up by my friend Brian at Shenandoah Music about 2 years ago. Excellent playing guitar. Great sounding guitar. Stock pickups, in my opinion, are fine. This guitar is like $168 on Amazon. It's still the same guitar, same pickups. I have not gotten a new one, but these three instruments have really made me curious. I have heard, and I'm 100% honest. If I go to YouTube and I look at some of the not YouTube, if I go to Amazon and I look at some of the reviews, occasionally I'll see someone say IYV isn't as good as it was 2 years ago. Maybe they made a particular run of guitars that was really, really good. I don't know. We're going to base our thoughts off these three. And I'm under the assumption that the oldest one here is about 4 years old, and the youngest one here is about 2 years old. So got this one probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Picked this one up about 2 weeks ago. And today I got a message from the gentleman, and he originally said he was going to keep this guitar. Okay, then he put it up where he wanted to sell both of them for $350, which I think is a fair price because this guitar is like $267. And I think this guitar is like $209. So that's a good deal. $300 for both of them. He then changed his mind and said, "Well, I want to keep this guitar," so I purchased this one. I think we paid $140 or $150. I can't remember what we paid for this one. And then today, he sent me a private message saying, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and let this one go too. Please let me know if you want it. I'm offering it to you first." So I thought that was super cool. And of course, I was busy today editing videos, so Linnell went to go pick up the guitar. I didn't even get to really go and play it and check it out. So she went and checked it out, thought it was okay, and brought the guitar home. Now, he has posted for sale, what's the model number, hon, of the other one? I gotta turn up your microphone, by the way. Okay. It's an IP something.
It's an ISSY 200.
And we have nothing on Linnell's microphone. Hold on for a second. Okay, try that again, hon.
It's an ISSY 200.
So if you're familiar with that one is more of a super strat neck through guitar. He says he's going to put that one up for sale as well. And if I remember correctly, we do have a member here, Pentagore. I'm pretty sure Pentagore has that model IYV. Again, I'm going to punch her microphone up just a little bit more because she was really quiet. Go ahead and say that model number one more time for him.
ISSY 200.
Yep, that's the model number. So if you're familiar with that model number IYV, that one is going to be coming up for sale shortly. If anyone is interested in that guitar, I can go check it out and be the middleman for you. I think it's going to be in the 200, maybe 220 mark, somewhere, anywhere from 180 to 220 bucks, somewhere in that ballpark.
I think you wanted 200.
Is it 200?
Yeah, 200.
So $200 mark for that guitar. If you're familiar with it and you think you might want it, we can go check it out for you. Going over this guitar, we actually already went over this one. This one is a set neck. You can see right here. This particular one is a set neck. This thing plays great, guys. It really does. It's got a good sound. It's a great sounding guitar. Now, we want to compare them. Believe it or not, I have not even plugged in this guitar yet. So you're going to get pretty much my first reactions on it. So I am going to unplug this one, and we are on a tube amp, so it's going to make some noise. Then I'm going to switch to the one, oh my gosh. And if anyone's curious, this guitar is much heavier than the black one. A substantial weight difference between these two guitars. This one is a neck through. It's kind of hard to see the color. My headphone thing is stuck to the guitar. But it is neck through. You can see the stripes right here by my fingers. So I want to check the tune on it real quick. We got our tuner right there. It must be tuned to a drop tune. Now this one he changed the tuners on, and I'm not a big fan. This has the Geiger tuners on it, and I'm not a big fan. Both of these guitars, I mean, really played fantastic. Good playing guitar. This one does have the Tree of Life on it. Oh, thank you so much, Niles. Let me turn this down a little bit so I don't blow you guys away. And if you don't know, commercials should be turned off. It's a new YouTube window, but I'm pretty sure I have them turned off. The channel also does not require you to be a subscriber to join in on the chat. If you become a subscriber, I want you to feel that this channel has earned it, not just so you can come in and talk. I would prefer you to be a subscriber, but I want true subscribers. I watch some channels and they have 15, 20, 30,000 subs, but I really don't see the comment ratio and live stream people joining in to match their subscriber count. I kind of, maybe that's a fantasy, but to me it seems like if you have 35 or 40,000 subscribers and you go live, you should at least have a couple hundred people watching you. That's just kind of my thought. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I've never had that many subs to kind of figure it out. It just seems to me that that would be true. So if you go down, you hit the subscribe button. We do good content here. It's about honest evaluations on instruments. That's what we do here. So I like this guitar. It's neck through. This is probably the cheapest neck through guitar that I know of, other than the guitar Linnell just spoke of, and that's made by the same company. I believe that guitar is like $289 on Amazon. They have not listed that guitar in several months though, so I don't know if that guitar is going to come back. This particular neck through is available on Amazon for $265, I think. So it's about the cheapest neck through guitar I've seen. It does have a Wilkinson bridge, and it has the Destiny CNC wound pickups in it, exactly like the black one. It's a great sounding guitar. Now, we haven't checked the frets on them or anything like that. The general fit and finish on both of them is decent. I mean, they're not perfect. Like, I see a little spot in the binding right here, and it's actually on the exact same spot on the black one. It's got a little spot right there too where the stain kind of went onto the binding. This one's got a beautiful top that morphs and changes. I don't know if you could see that, but the tiger stripe on the top actually changes. It's a beautiful top on the guitar. And the Tree of Life inlay, if you don't know, I'm doing a deep dive video right now on an Ibanez gem that has a very similar Tree of Life detail in the neck. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Yes, this one does have just a little bit more filler around the inlay. But the inlay, if you look, see how it's changing colors? You get some blues and some greens in it. It is far prettier than the Ibanez Gem inlay, the Junior. The Ibanez Gem Junior inlay is very dulled and muted. It almost looks like white plastic. This one actually changes colors. You can see the different highlights and stuff in them. Does it do it a lot? No, but I can see the swirl effect and the blues and the greens and the darker colors more than the Gem Junior. I have seen a regular Ibanez Gem. Now that inlay pops. That's a very high-end material they're using on the actual Pia and Gem. But the Gem Junior, I don't think is as pretty as this one. But this one does have a little bit more filler around the inlay work. So let's unplug this one. And this guitar here, guys, I haven't even plugged it in. And I can tell you right now, picking up the two, this guitar weighs maybe half of what that one weighs. It's not half. This guitar is stupid light.
What bridge is that?
On this one,
I think on the one you just put down.
the one I just put down, that's a Wilkinson bridge on that guitar. It's actually a Wilkinson bridge. So let's actually see if this thing works. That one works. Middle position works. Volume works. Tone works. So let's give it a tune. He must like the Geiger tuners, because there's Geiger tuners on this one too. Seems like, I'm not sure, but the intonation could be out a little bit on this one. It's very light. It doesn't seem to be as punchy as the black one and this one. And it does say the exact same thing on the pickups, Destiny CNC wound. Whether or not it's wound with the same amount of wraps, I'm not sure. I'm going to say that the Destiny might be the machine they're using to wind the pickups. This pickup definitely does not have the punch that the pickups in these two models have. Good sounding.
Birdman said on its review you could compare numbers to the black one.
Yeah, I mean, I have my tester here. I'm pretty sure that Destiny CNC is something to do with the machine they're using, winding it. If these are the same pickups, I'm going to say they are definitely using a different cap on these to change the sound. Maybe it's putting more signal to ground than these two.
Niall said maybe because it's a hollow body.
It could. It could exactly be that the hollow body does change and affect the tone of the guitar. But it also doesn't seem like it has the push to the amplifier like the other two. So let's try our center position. Here's our center position. Center position sounds really good. Let's go up to our neck position, exact same thing. That's a nice sounding guitar.
Birdman said possibly a different tone cap or pots.
I just said that.
And Mr. Fat said those are basswood. How does it feel on the body? How's the vibration feel?
I feel a little resonance against my body. It's not bad. This one is a set neck, very similar to the black one, the way it's made. And this is very light. It is definitely hollow back in here. I wish I had my inspection camera. I could get back in there and actually see if they put a block right here. A lot of manufacturers will put a solid block right here. I can't really see in there. But it is definitely hollow back in here. It is, this guitar is like stupid light. Let's, before we go too much further, let's actually weigh this guitar. It's so light, it really needs to be weighed. Let me put this up here real quick, and I'm gonna grab my stool right there, and we're gonna weigh the guitar.
Maybe more PAF pups in the hollow body.
PAF pups. We could probably do that. Alright, I gotta take these off, guys, because it does affect the scale. So right here is our scale. Let's turn the scale on. Right now we're on kilograms, pound, ounces. So let's unplug it. It feels stupid light. It's so light, I gotta move it back like this to get it to sit on the scale. It says 4 pounds. 4 pounds. 4 pounds, 15.4 ounces. That is crazy light. But something I am detecting, you know, it's actually not that bad. On the scale, it wanted to dive by the neck, and you could see I'm not grabbing the guitar. So it's not neck heavy. Sure, it's a little neck heavy, but it's not so neck heavy where it's going like that. That's not too bad. I'm kind of speechless. So if you're on the fence on buying one of these, I'm not seeing where there's any issue, especially at the price point. I mean, feeling in here, I mean, I do feel a lip on the binding where they have not sanded the inside section. But who sticks their finger down in the hole like that? The top edge is nicely done. Same with this side. It's remarkable. I think this guitar is like $209, something like that. If someone wants to look at it on Amazon, that's a crazy price point for this guitar. You can see the F holes there. It's a really nice burst too. Sometimes these companies go so dark right here, and then it actually goes, I think it's too red, and then to the blonde. This one's really nice. It's a nice taper. I mean, you can see some red in here.
Jerry Diaz says his Gibson SG from 1971 is lighter.
Is it? I mean, that's crazy light. I had a Gibson Explorer, and it was 11 plus pounds with the Gigsby on it. So, you know, I had an Alex license. I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag. I sold my Alex licensed Les Paul. Yeah, you guys can start booing the screen right now. It took me about a week to realize that I messed up and I should not have sold my Alex licensed Les Paul. But that's okay. There'll be something else that comes around that I'll like even more eventually. But for me, this is probably the lightest guitar in the arsenal right now. And it's a good playing little guitar. That's a good playing guitar. It's actually got some low end too. Now, granted, guys, I am not changing any EQ settings. I am just plugging one guitar right into the other. Every guitar may require, a little fine tuning. I think that sounds pretty good.
Sounds a little out of tune.
It may be. We literally just brought this guitar home, so it was outside in the truck, and then so it hasn't had time to do anything. There's our E. Yeah, the A is a little sharp, and you can see how it dropped right there. Looks like it went sharp on me. I mean, this is a strobe tuner, so it's really picky. I mean, it was very close. I think what you're hearing is when I first plugged it, I'm thinking the G intonation is off just a little bit. Let's check it. Yeah, the G. Now, of course, this is a strobe tuner. The G intonation is sharp. Let's just go through it real quick. There's our E. E on the 12th. It's sharp. There's our A. A on the 12th. It's sharp. The D is sharp. The G is sharp. The B is sharp. High E is the closest, and it's out maybe a cent. So I think that's what you're hearing is when I'm coming up here. And some of that is I'm overgaining. Let's cut this back. Yeah, you can tell it's out just a fraction. All in all, though, it's. It's a good playing little guitar. Now, something I did notice, I don't think I've ever seen this before, so I'm going to show it to you guys, and you guys can see this. The bridge has two small set screws back here, and the reason for that is you can move this bridge back and forth to compensate for intonation. It is locked, okay? These don't move. But the B and the other, here, look.
Birdman said.
Have you guys ever seen a bridge that has just, the G and the B having a set screw to where you can move just the intonation on those two strings?
Birdman said, Avery, I dare you to say high E, low E like Paul Milehouse.
Well, I think I say low E all the time, high E. I think I do that. If I don't, I should, because
You say it like Paul Milehouse.
I don't know how he says it. I'm sure that he's got a flexion or something. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen a bridge like that. I think I don't think I remember ever seeing a bridge that has just those two movable and the rest being fixed. I mean, it's a cool concept. I mean, I see that these two are separated. If you were going to do that, why wouldn't you just go ahead and make them all? I'm not really understanding that too much. It seems to me if you're going to take the effort and do something like this, just put them in groups of two like the Telecaster and make it to where you can adjust groups of two or make them all adjustable. Why just make those two adjustable? That's a little peculiar. And it still has the screws back here where you can move the whole bridge. I mean, it's unique. I'm sure there's a reason behind it. They must have had an issue and this was their fix. So if you have a guitar with a wraparound bridge and you're not able to get one of those two in intonation, you might want to reach out to IYV and see if they'll sell you this tailpiece. It could fix your issue.
Warhart says it only addresses the G to B interchange.
Yes, it's only the B and G. So if you're going to adjust the other ones, you have to use these two set screws in the back here, and then that'll move the bridge like this as a unit, back and forth. I mean, you can usually get them pretty close. Like if you're trying to pull back on the E, this whole bridge will move sideways when you adjust this Allen screw here in the back. It looks pretty cool. I have to say that I like that. And like I said, it's a good playing little guitar. That's our neck, both pickups. good sounding. All right, so let's go to the next step. Is that going to make noise? Probably. Who knows? Let's switch around. Now, since YouTube made changes, guys, I may or may not have this camera working. Again, I couldn't check before the stream. So we're going to go black screen just for 1 second unless it has auto detected that camera, which I kind of doubt that it has. It has not. So 1 second, guys, and let's see if I can find the camera. There we go. So let me move it real quick and we'll try to get centered up here. Okay, now we're going to check the pickups. And I say that, and I think I moved my pickup reader. It's over there. We are 100% professional here. This is a highly refined channel. If you believe that, I got a bridge in Los Angeles to sell you. Okay, let's actually see what these pickups are reading, guys. So let's turn our meter on. We're going to go to 20 kH. You can see that there. So on 20 kH, our pickup is reading 14.25. That's our bridge. Let's check our inductance and Henrys. It's reading 7.08. So 14, that's a little under half, not quite a third. So back to 20 ohms. Our center position, we're reading 5.75. Henrys, 3.08. And our neck pickup is reading 9.44, 20 kOhm. And Henrys and inductance, 4.84. So that is what that one is reading. What I want to do now, hopefully someone wrote that down, because that was someone's job. I'm going to check the black one. Here's our black one. And the pickups are reading the same as far as what they say on the pickup. But they sound completely different. All right, 20 kOhm. Well, there's already a difference. This pickup is only at 13.83. Okay. 20 kOhm. The other one was like 16. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I see a lot of channels, so like, oh, that number, it's high output. And right there is proof. I just said that guitar doesn't have the output this guitar has. But yet it has a higher 20 kOhm rating. So take all that stuff with a grain of salt, guys. Trust me. Our inductance and Henrys is coming in at 7.09 on this one, bridge. In our center position, we're at 5.66, 20 kOhm. Our inductance in Henrys is 3.13. Up to our neck position, 9.40.
Could it be different gauge wire windings?
You know, there's a lot to doing pickups. Our Henrys and inductance on the neck is 4.90. It can be a bunch of different things, guys. I'm far, and I've said this many times on the channel. I'm more of a, I mean, most people call me a luthier or guitar tech. I don't consider myself a luthier. Luthiers do guitars full time, And they have years and years and years and years and years of just building guitars. And a true luthier comes up with his own system. He's done it so much, he kind of knows what does and what doesn't work. And I mean, I can do that too, but I can't tell you that across a broad range of instruments.
Would the pup covers affect the readings?
Sure, I mean, everything affects it. Your covers do change it just a little bit. It's not much. I'm going to say that that's got to be something in the windings or the magnets. It's got to be either the magnets or the windings or, like someone else said, the gauge. See, it's not necessarily how many winds. Let's say they use a really, really thin wire and it takes 50,000 winds, and they want basically the same thing, but they're going to go to a heavier wire. Well, that heavier wire is going to take up more space, so maybe you could do it in 40,000 winds, and it comes out on the bobbin the same. Would those two pickups sound the same? They shouldn't. Even though you've come out the same distance from the magnets around the bobbin, they should still technically sound different. Just like if you do the exact same gauge wire with the exact same winding and you put Alnico 2s in it, it'll sound different than Alnico 5s. But the charge that you put in it, the magnet, how long it's charged when they put the magnetic, when they charge the magnet, how long it's on there changes how magnetic that piece is. So that can change it. There's a lot to it. I'm just saying this guitar has a lot more output than the hollow body, but the 20K ohm rating was 13. The hollow body was over 16. So on many YouTube channels, they would crow at the 16 because it was like 16 and a half, almost 17. They're like, ooh, high output. Well, it doesn't have near the output this one has. So they've obviously done something, okay? I haven't opened them up, but this is what I'm saying. We try to do honest reviews here. So even watch my reviews. I'll often say that too, higher. And I always think in the back of my head, there's always a circumstance where it's not true, if that makes sense. We kind of blanket things. We're guitar players. I say a lot of falsehoods, like I always call it a tremolo. That's because that's what everyone else calls it. I'm going to hit the whammy bar of the tremolo. It's really not. It's really a vibrato. But we call it that.
Birdman says, are we going to talk about different base plates on them too? I hope so.
Again, I wanted to say this earlier. When I got onto the luthier tech, I'm more of a guy that does refrets. I clean frets. I reshape guitar necks. I fix chips and dings in guitars. I'm more of a tech like that. That's really my strong point. My weaker point is electronics. Everyone has a strong point and a weak point. I'm pretty good with electronics, but my strong points are in guitar setups, okay, and repairing the guitar, like neck damage, fret damage, leveling, crowning, dressing frets, cutting nuts, changing bridges, fixing Floyd Roses. I'm good at electronics, but if I look at how much knowledge I have on general body repairs and hardware repairs, it is not equal to the electronic side. Does that kind of make sense? That's why if you're wanting to learn more about electronics, I like Dylan Talks Tone. Some people don't care for his way of speaking or talking. I actually like that. He has an opinion, and he's been doing it for many, many years. So someone that has opinion like that and believes what he thinks, he's sharp to say, this is what I think. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch this channel. This is what I think. This is how I do it. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. I like that about him. I found myself going down the rabbit hole too of watching what I say. I don't want to do that. I want to be me here. And if we get a POS on here, I try to always tell you it's a POS. We've reviewed some POSs on the channel, but I try to be honest, and people have called me out on a couple things, and I might be saying something, and I feel it at that particular time because it's a feeling that I have. But when I really stop and think about what makes a guitar tick, sometimes it doesn't align. Does that kind of make sense, guys?
Birdman says, I read that brass makes them warmer and nickel makes them brighter.
Brass is warmer, okay? That's why you'll hear people say, they'll refret the guitar, they put stainless steel frets on it, and they claim the guitar has gotten brighter. I've never played a guitar that had nickel and then switched it and played it back to back with the stainless steel. But I hear that it does make a difference. When I get them in and you do a refret, it's really hard in my head. I've never recorded it, then done the refret, then recorded it and listened to them. Just never thought about it. I mean, I've played it and heard it, and then 3 weeks later I plug it back in. It's kind of like, I don't remember what it sounded like. But I hear stainless steel frets do that. I have, on the other hand, done Floyd Rose bridges, where I've recorded the instrument with the stock steel saddles that are plated, and then went to a stainless steel saddle, and yes, the guitar did seem to get a little brighter.
Birdman said,
When I A-B them, I can hear the difference.
as in the pickups.
What's this?
Birdman said, as in the pickups.
As in the pickup.
I think he's talking about the whole where he said brass and nickel.
Well, I don't know if you change the covers, if that's what you're talking about. But stainless steel saddles and stuff, I know that makes a change. I also know the block on the back of your tremolo, a fat brass block will be a warmer sound, okay? It does add mass. If you're wanting more bite, and this is hard to describe, more bite and grunge, I would go to a heavy mass steel, okay? I would. The stock steel one, or tungsten, they're all going to make changes. How much change does it make? I've said it a lot. Anytime you do something, don't expect leaps and bounds from your saddle or your frets or whatever it is. It's going to make little tiny changes. But if you make this change and then you make this the fret change and you change the cap and you change the pickups, of course, all that makes a big change. I think your biggest change is in your amp, if you change the EQ settings in your amp or your speakers.
Mr. Fat says, if we buy those models, do we need to change out the tuners for better ones? I think if I buy those models, I might change out the tuners, maybe the pickups too.
I don't mind the pickups, Mr. Fats. And again, I want to qualify this. I'm playing through, my amplifier is very expensive, okay? But this little Yamaha amp, you can't really see it, it's right there, right, touching it. Everyone's seen it, my little THR. I have that amplifier set up to where, does it sound like my tube amp? No, but it's very close. And I like my quantum pickups in the Ibanez through that amp, and I like them in my rack amp. I have played this guitar in the Yamaha, the little modeling amp, and I've played it in my rack. I like it in both, okay? I think if you have a nice amp and you EQ it right, these pickups are fine. I would have no problem taking either one of these three guitars out live and playing them. I really wouldn't. It's pleasant to my ears with the proper EQ, truly. That one, the hollow body, I think I would open that one up and kind of see why the output's so low on it, because there's a definite difference in the output between this guitar and that guitar. But if you're playing out live, most likely you're going to have a volume pedal. So when you pick that guitar up, you're probably going to have to push up on your volume pedal. Like when I played out live, I had a volume pedal. And all the way up was my minimum setting. And when I pushed it all the way down, that was the boost for my lead. I almost think the way I used to set up my volume pedal, when I picked up that hollow body, I would have to push it down like I was in a lead to play rhythm, if that makes sense.
Jupe said the bridge, the bridge you built for his Schecter is awesome.
Yes, it makes a big difference. On Jupe's bridge that we built that he's speaking of, we put a very, very, very large brass big block in the backside of that guitar. And for those people that love tone wood, you're going to love this one. We put a tone claw in that guitar. And for those that believe tone wood's hogwash, then you're going to think the tone claw is hogwash too. But I audibly can hear a sustain difference with the tone claw. There's two things that changes. The tone claw is much beefier brass. It's not just the bent piece of steel. It's a solid machine piece of brass with a second piece that fits over it that locks the springs of the tremolo. So when the spring hook goes around it, another piece of brass goes over that and screws to the claw that locks the spring in place. So the spring isn't just riding in one spot. It's locked all the way around that circle. So that energy transfer is transferred directly into that claw. Second, the screw diameter is much larger on a tone claw. So it's transferring, and they're solid brass screws, that energy into the body of the guitar. If you have tight tolerances and you don't want to drill bigger holes for those screws, don't consider a tone claw. If you have tight tolerances and your springs are almost hitting the bottom cover on your guitar and almost hitting the route in your guitar, do not do a tone claw. It takes up more room and you need a little bit more clearance. On Jupe's guitar, we had to do a lot of routing to get the tone claw and the extra large block to work in that Schecter. So neither one of those two pieces are drop in, but I hear a sustain difference. I hear a tone difference when I do those two mods together. Do I hear it when I just do the block? I do. I hear a little bit of a sustain difference in the block, but I hear a much larger difference, okay? And you're all going to laugh at this, doing the tone claw. Leave the stock block and put a tone claw in. Most people don't do that because you can buy a nice Music Lily brass block for under 30 bucks. Most of them are 15 bucks. If you buy the big L one, it might be 22 or 23. So most people go that route because the tone claw is $75 just for a claw. And I can hear it now. You guys are throwing popcorn. It's like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now everyone's throwing stuff at the screen. Who would pay $50-some for a tone claw? Well, I did, and other people do too. If you want more sustain, you're going to grab more sustain out of that tone claw than you would the large block. Because you can put that large block in the guitar, that energy still has to transfer through the springs, into the claw, into the guitar. If not, it has to transfer up to the bottom plate of the bridge, into the two posts, and into the guitar. So by changing that claw, you're effectively changing the contact ratio of that string to the body.
Timothy wants to know if you're going to upgrade the Floyd Rose on your Schecter Banshee.
Actually, that's a 1500, and I was told that is a stainless steel base plate, stainless steel saddles. It's a pretty good bridge right now. It already has a Sustainiac in it. So this is my little squirrel brain. On a Sustainiac, you can open up the back of the guitar, and you have a three-way position. You have low, mid, and high, and how much the Sustainiac does. I would just set my first position on the Sustainiac just to add a little sustain to the guitar, okay? Make it really usable to where you could leave it on and it doesn't kill the battery in 15 minutes. The center position, I'd add a little bit more. And my last position, the highest the Sustainiac would work, would be the way they sent it from the factory between the low position and the mid position. I think the Sustainiac from the factory has way too much. It's uncontrollable in the high setting. But dial it back, then you don't really need to do much. The electronics in that guitar are already designed to compensate for sustain. And you could set that Sustainiac up to where I don't feel it would be worth putting the money in the bridge to add a block in the claw when I can set the Sustainiac gain system up to where I can just flip a switch and do all kinds of crazy stuff. That's just my thought, if that makes sense. So there's no plans on doing anything with the Schecter. The guitar plays great from the factory. Oh, I take that back. There are plans on replacing the 2 screws because the pickup rises as you play it. But other than that, it's a great guitar. I picked that one because it has the Sustainiac and stuff in it. The stainless steel bridge. That bridge should last for years. It's a hardened material. I shouldn't really have any problems with it. If I do, I will definitely tell you guys. That's what the channel's about. As of right now, for $1,650, Schecter, put the right freaking screws in the pickup. Don't think we're asking for too much. You nailed that guitar. The neck through body, the way that guitar plays, it's a wonderful playing guitar. You just put the long screws in the pickup. So if Schecter's out there listening, go out to your production line. Maybe that particular production run just had wrong screws. I have not gotten a post on that video with anyone else saying their Schecter does the same. So maybe it was a Friday at 4:50 when those screws went in. I don't know. I'm just pointing out what mine does. Okay, guys, I don't know how many people's watching, but I can tell it's almost break time. I am going to check the YouTube window, and they have made changes, so it's not like I can just kind of go here. And how long? I'm going to have to start this. So it looks like we've been on for an hour and a half, but I'm counting the stream window. It's going to mess me up, guys. We've been on for about an hour. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. I see we have 28 people. You don't have to leave. If you do, please come back. We always take a 5-minute break. That allows people to get a drink, get some snacks. You can also continue the conversation in the chat window. You don't have to be a subscriber to chat, but I really want you to go down and subscribe. We work hard here.
Niles has to go.
Oh, Niles works night shift, so everyone knows. He comes in, which I think is super cool. He comes in every live stream before he has to go to work. Comes in, hangs out, talks, chats. That's so cool. Then he goes to work. I'm sure after work on his drive home, he's probably watching the last part of the stream. So thank you so much, Niles. Have a good night at work. But you don't have to subscribe to chat, so please join in on the chat. Contribute. Your opinion is just as valuable as mine. We're supposed to all put our opinions and voice what we feel is right. I can tell you what I think, and just like I'm not getting into whether Tonewood is or isn't, I can just tell you what I've seen in repairing guitars. I've seen a difference in the tone claw and in solid blocks. I've seen a difference in the stainless steel saddles. These are just honest things that I've seen repairing guitars.
Vox is just leaving work, but he'll be listening.
Oh, okay. See, everyone's checking out the stream while they're at work or coming home from work. I watch Studio Rats. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the Studio Rats, but on Wednesday when I get off work, they go live. And it's 3:30, something like that, or 3:45, and I usually watch those cats all the way home. So listening to a stream on your drive home or ride into work, I think it's super cool. I'm a YouTuber just like you guys. I like watching other people's streams. So I appreciate everyone that's come in. We're going to take our 5-minute break. So get a Vittle, Vegemite sandwich if you're in Australia. Get something to drink, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes, guys. I got to go to my OBS window. Love this freaking guitar.
Devastator said that's not an IYV.
It is not an IYV, but it is my Vandenberg replacement. Exact same scale length as the Vandenberg. It's a 24.75. Now, something I will say, I have set my amplifier up using the Quantum pickups. And the Quantum pickups have a lot more push, believe it or not, and they break up a little quicker. This has a JB in it. Both these pickups are JBs. So with the JB pickup, you do need to push your preamplifier a little bit more to get that high gain out of it. That's why a lot of people like some of the newer Seymour Duncans, where Seymour Duncan has taken the JP and kind of pushed it a little bit more. That does work. But I still think the JB is better, because when you push your preamplifier, okay, it's working the preamp stage of that amplifier a little bit more. And when you stack your preamps and you push the JB, I think it just sounds better, if that makes sense. They're a lot clearer. And you'll notice with these pickups versus the Quantums, you're going to have to pick and play cleaner, if that makes any sense. So you're going to hear mistakes more so with this pickup set than you will the Quantums. They're a little more articulate. If you play clean, a JB, now, like I said, I actually need to turn the gain up just a little bit on the amplifier with the JB, but they just have a sound. I think a JB just sounds great. I don't know what your all's opinion of the JB is. As I said, you will have to gain your amplifier a little bit more, but there's a reason why the JB became so popular, and it's also the reason why so many guitars still continue to use the JB. The Night Swan's a great little guitar. This pickup here, missed that one. Needs a little bit more gain to do the tricks, but it's a unique guitar simply because of the pickup configuration. I think it would be cool if they would have put a push-pull in this, because you would have been able to split these coils, and if you split the coil in the center position, you could have made it to where this pickup and this pickup was active, or, you know, I think it would have added a lot of tone. That might be something that I do to this guitar. I think it would open up a lot more sound possibility. Still working on that. I'm trying to get this. I'm missing something. I don't know if I should go to like a fifth or do something diminished in it. It needs something. So if someone wants to tell me what I'm missing on that. It's lacking something. It's lacking creativity. that position, it's got a little quack to it too.
Why is it buzzing?
I have it set up a little on the low side. And this guitar is also the guitar, every guitar that you own, you probably have one where the neck moves a lot. This guitar, the neck moves a lot. And it has. It actually has a little back bow on it. I've had this guitar for about 2 years. In the first 6 months I had this guitar, it was almost unplayable. I would make a neck adjustment and it would be okay for a couple days, and then the neck would fly the other direction. I'd make a neck adjustment, it'd be okay for a couple days, and it would fly the other direction. Out of every guitar that I own, the neck on this guitar moves first. When I say change of seasons, this guitar will move first. And you'll see that's proof. Notice it does not have the truss rod cover on it because this guitar, the neck moves on it constantly. Does that mean it's a bad guitar? No. Some guitars are just like that. And this is one of my guitars that you're constantly adjusting the neck on it. So I actually need to spin it just a little bit. I don't know if I have my tools up here. No, I do not. But literally, if I put the tool in it and I just move it 1/8 of a turn, that's all it's going to need. Yep, it needs a truss rod adjustment. Put in the chat, do you have a guitar like this one? We are going, where I'm at, we're getting temperatures in the 40s to 50s at night. And it's warming up to about 75 max during the day. So we are going into, this is fall here. So we are moving into the winter months. And that's about when this guitar starts doing its kooky things. Once December gets here, it'll kind of figure out where it wants to be. And it'll be okay until maybe March, end of March, early April, early part of April, and then it'll start moving again because the AC will start cutting on in the house. My oil furnace will not run anymore. So this guitar is one that I'm always having to do neck adjustments on. I have other guitars that, you know, I'm not going to say I don't have to do neck adjustments on, but I have other guitars that require less maintenance than this guitar. This guitar always needs one, usually 2 in the fall and 2 in the spring.
The loose rod?
No, it's just the neck. I mean, the rod can't be loose. It has to be making contact because as soon as I make a little adjustment, and literally, if the Allen wrench is here, if I just move it to there, that's all it'll need. And I'm going to let the guitar set for a day, and the next day it will play fine. And then I may have to do that again in about 2 months, one more time, and it'll be okay for about 3 months, and then we'll hit spring, and then it'll be 1/8 inch turn that way, about a month and a half, another 1/8 inch turn, then I'm good for summer. This one has been bad for that. My one PV, I have a regular PV Nitro. It used to do that quite a bit too. I don't play that guitar as much as I used to. That one moved more than my Nitro PV, my active Nitro PV. And they're basically the exact same guitar. So I don't know, it's just the piece of wood. It's just somewhere like that. So I actually thought when I first got this guitar, I chased it for so long, I thought there was an issue with it. It has gotten a lot better. So I'm a firm believer as a guitar ages, the neck is going to become better. It's going to dry out. It's going to learn where it's at. Okay, this does have a lacquer finish on it or a 2K poly finish on it. So it's going to take a long time for this wood to naturally dry out, if that makes sense. I think once it does that, it'll stabilize a little bit more. You know, it's not a roasted maple neck, and it's a one-piece neck, so it's not a two-piece neck at all. It's one piece of maple with a piece of ebony on it. So it does move. But like I said, when you put dirt on it, a little fret buzz really doesn't bother me. It would probably drive me crazy on clean the way it is right now. But a little fret buzz playing stuff like this. That doesn't bug me as much if it was on clean. But I do hear it. It's definitely low. Do I have my gauges? Let's see how low it is. It's definitely low. This is our imperial gauge. So at the 12th, yeah, it's stupid low. Right now it's set at 0.035. That's really low. To give you an idea, I usually set my guitars up at 0.06. So yeah, it needs a truss rod adjustment. I don't need to mess with the bridge. It's the truss rod. And that'll help that. Hear how it's choking out? That's also why I'm having a hard time getting the harmonics out
Is
of
it
it.
lower than what the West Creek was?
Yes, the West Creek I think was like 0.045. So this guitar just needs a neck adjustment. But as I say, this is the one guitar that I have that I'm always chasing the neck on this guitar, especially in the fall and the spring. But I like the guitar. This one's made in Indonesia. So this is the re-release of the Kramer Night Swan. It's not an original Night Swan out of the New Jersey, you know. Well, technically speaking, those guitars weren't made in New Jersey. Anyway, they were farming out to ESP, their necks and bodies, and they were sent over from Japan and assembled in New Jersey. So technically, they weren't truly American-made guitars to start with. I believe the story was originally that one guy that was doing the aluminum necks for them, he was taking too long to build the necks, and they eventually got into doing wooden necks, and then they eventually started farming out the necks and bodies, as I understand it. So I'm going to turn around here and turn on the other camera. There we go. Now I'm going to open up the chat window. All right, guys. I do want to qualify something tonight. We're not going to stream super late tonight. I sometimes work on Sundays. If you don't know, I am an Adventist. So in this little squirrel brain, Sunday is the first day of the week. So I do work on Sundays sometimes. And tomorrow I do have to work. So we're not going to stream super long, but I do want to go to Discord, and I want to look at Discord. I do believe there were some questions posted in the topics room. And if you're not familiar, we do have a Discord server. It is run by Devastator in the chat. and he makes sure the Discord runs flawlessly. And if you're not a good boy in there, you will hear from Devastator. He is the man that runs the Discord. So in here, let me see. We answered the 50s wiring last week. Tone delete. So here we have one. Let me go and I'll share the window. So this is our Discord. And for whatever reason, I can't get the Discord to come up. There it is. Maybe a topic won't stump Avery. Base plates for humbuckers, nickel, metal, brass, etc. How does it affect the sound? How much each base plate behaves with a different magnet? Might have to get Dylan on the show to help out with these explanations. I don't think I could have said it any better. I think I already went over that kind of earlier in the stream. I know everything makes a difference, guys. For me to sit there and say, if you made a bobbin out of plastic or one out of aluminum, I'm sure it makes a change. I'm not an aficionado on pickups. So that's definitely something that I would reach out to Dylan Talks Tone. There are some other channels that I believe Mojo Tone has an open forum as well on pickups.
Steve said Dylan did a video on that a while back.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would go check out Dylan Talks Tone's pickup. Steve said he did a video on it. He is going to be more knowledgeable because he builds pickups. That's what they actually do for a living. Dylan and his wife handline pickups, and they're good pickups. I have some Dylan pickups here. I love Dylan pickups. So he's going to give you a first-hand account on what he has found, because they're always doing experiments on winding pickups, changing this material, changing that material. So that's hand-on experience that you just can't beat, if that makes sense. So I would reach out to them, and I'm sure that would be something that he would discuss with you. Or watch his video like Steve just put up. So now let's go look at the second question. I'm going to do Discord. So Steve, what DAW or plugins are you looking at? Okay. This question is based on, I made a comment the other week that we're going to start making some changes here. One, we are going to start working on a better area for the streams. It takes a tremendous amount of time to get everything up and running. This is our living room. So it can't stay this way. So I have to literally unplug everything, put everything away, and then life goes on. I try to keep most of the settings the same, but it would be so much better to actually have a spot where everything could be set up. I could just go in and do the live streams. So it's going to have to be a workshop, review shop, and a stream room, all combined into one area. And I think that's going to actually help me, because then when I'm recording content on leveling frets or setting up guitars, everything will already be there. Is this something that's going to happen in the next 6 months? Probably not. You're probably looking at a change over the next year. So not only do I need to hang sheetrock and put in some blocking for some camera rig bars and stuff like that, I need to update some equipment. And Steve's question was based on, I made a comment that I'm going to start using more plug-in type stuff. Right now I use a lot of rack equipment. Pretty much, if you hear an effect here, it's a rack-based effect, okay? I am looking at a Behringer wing rack. That we are purchasing one. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. We are purchasing one. But with the wing rack comes another issue the channel has, is our computer is very antiquated. I don't know if Searching for Tone is still in the chat. I was working on video content. We're doing a collab series right now. And I literally have to wait sometimes 15 or 20 seconds for my video to internalize before it'll start. If I move the cursor, it stops. If I have more than 3 tracks going at the same time, it jumps and hops and skips. It'll sometimes do it even if I have 2 tracks open. I always record with 2 cameras. So that's always 2 video feeds and 2 audio feeds at one time in VSD-C. So my computer doesn't like that. This time I tried something different. I recorded in OBS, and I meant to record, I want to start recording the streams too and pulling out content in the streams and posting through the week. My apologies. I completely forgot to hit the record button tonight, but OBS will record everything as I'm doing it so I can later then process it. Didn't do that. So I did use OBS with a Mevo camera, and I'm using the footage of the Mevo camera, okay? I was going to, but the white balance was so far out, it's not worth using. But I was able to use OBS and my Yamaha mixer with my open microphones, and this time I recorded the guitar, okay, with these better microphones. I'm not using my standard 57s.
Searching for Tone said he just started doing 2 cameras. Not easy to set up.
Yeah, the problem that you're going to find, I've been using 2 or 3 cameras for over 2 years. The problem with budget cameras is SMPTE code. We're on a budget, so you have to write a code to your left or right channel of the camera, the audio feed, to sync it to the next camera. If you're not using that, you want to use 2 cameras of the exact same model. Because what will end up happening, and this is what I found with the Nevo and OBS, the GoPro 10s will record and the Mevo's recording through OBS. The problem is when you play them back and start, let's say you sync them at the beginning, the further that file plays, the more out of sync it will become, because there's nothing syncing it. If you're not familiar with sync, I'm very familiar with old sync because we used to use ADATs and reel-to-reels. You had to sync the tape machines because it was a tape motor. And you had, as the tape on the reel went in, the machine would compensate the speed of the tape. It had to speed up the motor because on the outside, it's a larger diameter. As the tape fed, it got smaller and smaller. So the machine was compensating for the speed. Well, you could time your motor on, like I had a TSR-8. You would use a global clock tuner. It would clock your ADATs and keep your ADATs in sync. So you had to have a track on the ADAT, and it would go beep, 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 and it would record that beep on a track on the 8-track. And its job was to force those 2 machines to keep that in sync. The problem with using GoPros and stuff like that, you can't, it just doesn't work. You can't feed a SMPTE code to one side of a GoPro. If you do, you have to have a media mod, and then once you use the media mod, now you can't use an external battery and the camera overheats. Been down that road. It's better just to use an external battery, but when you use an external battery, that takes up the port. Now you can't use an external mic. So now you can't record SMPTE code to the other side. Next issue is now you have to have a program that will automatically speed up and slow down that video file according to that SMPTE code. In a budget scenario like us, we can't do that. So what I end up doing is I go 10 minutes and I sync the cameras 10 minutes manually and let them play. Every 10 minutes I resync the camera. And believe it or not, running at 60 frames per second, in 10 minutes I can be off 2 or 3 frames. And you're going, well, 60 frames per second, that's not a lot. It is. It is a lot. It's a lot. It's enough to where it'll cause almost like a slight delay sound, like something's not quite right. If I'm within one or two, I'll usually leave it if I can get it that close, because remember, it's gonna mistrack. Let's say I've got a 20-minute window where I don't want to resync it, and I know video 2 is running faster. I'll take that 2 frames forward to where it's deliberately out of sync forward. But halfway through, let's say 15 minutes in or 20 minutes in, it'll be perfect in sync, and then it'll be out 2 or 3 frames at the end of the 30 minutes. That's how I get around it. I try to keep it very, very close. I do need to make that change, but that change, one camera that's acceptable on that, you're in the $2,000 mark to get a camera that's really designed to accept SMPTE. And the reason for that, it's going to have a separate port. It's not just going to have a mic port that you're using your global timer to write code to. You want something that actually has a SMPTE port. That way you can tell it, do you want to use the world clock in the camera, or are you using an external world clock? If you're using an external world clock, it will lock that camera to the world clock. And if you're using another camera to record to, it'll lock that camera to the world clock. And your field recorder and your DAW, everything else, as it's recorded, if it has SMPTE, as you go through your recording, it keeps it locked. And it's going to write flags, just like when you went from DAT to a mastering CD, or your reel-to-reel to a mastering DAT, you would have to set starting flags and ending flags in your binary code, so your mastering deck would go, okay, this is the beginning of track 1, this is the end of track 2, this is the beginning of track. If you didn't, you wouldn't be able to hit track 1, track 2. You had to set a code, a flag, in those codes. SMPTE code works the same way. It's setting markers, and it keeps that in sync. And it's checking it probably every 3 or 4 seconds. It's ridiculously accurate. The drawback, like I said, is just cost. I don't have, basically, by the time you buy the lens and the camera, you're at $2,200, and that's the beginning range. If you're buying something cheaper and under that, please send me a link to it. It's got to have a SMPTE input, and it's got to have something that can be reframed for all types of streaming platforms. Sony and Canon, you're not allowed. It's some kind of video format to where after it's recorded, the Panasonic Lumix, you can. Okay, it's the only, we're going to call it prosumer grade camera that you can go in and change from horizontal to vertical depending on the format post recording. The Canon and stuff, you end up cropping it, it destroys it. The exact same thing with the Nikon stuff. Now we're talking prosumer. And when you get into professional stuff like the high-end Panasonics, Blackmagic, and Sony Professional, now you're in the 8, 9, 10 grand range for a camera. I don't want to be there. I want to be in the prosumer market, and the Lumix seems to be Panasonic, Mitsubishi Electronics. They seem to be the best bang for the buck, that you can get different lenses and it actually will receive SMPTE. If someone else knows a different unit, I'm all ears. Please go to Discord and let's start a conversation, because that is something that we are going to change. Right now, in every video you all have ever watched in the last 2.5 years has been on a GoPro 10. And 2 GoPro 10s and a GoPro 8. My very first video was shot with my cell phone. I think I have one or two shot with the cell phone. Then after that, I went GoPro 8. And then it was shot with one GoPro 8. It was very shortly after that, within 2 months, I had a GoPro 10 and an 8. And I will say this, if you're manually syncing, use the same camera. Because my two GoPro 10s, once I sync them and they play, they'll track together for 2 hours. But they will not track with the GoPro 8. It's not as bad as the Mevo, but it will lose a frame here or there.
Vox
So
said
keep that in
DX
mind.
Vox said DX7s for the win.
DX7s, I had a DX7. That shows my age, right? I loved my DX7. I sold my DX7 and bought a Corrigan 1. And I sold my Corrigan 1 10 years ago, and I replaced it with an Akai MPC keyboard. I have the MPC 61, great keyboard. Don't really use it too much on the stream. Again, this is due to time. I waste a lot of time setting up for the stream. So our first thing, we're getting a DAW. That comes back to my original question. The unit, the wing rack, comes with a lot of stuff already from the factory, free. So it's going to have all my channel strips, compressors, gates, reverbs, delays, all that stuff pretty much comes with the unit. It actually does have some modeling, so you can run your guitar directly into it or your bass directly into it. It comes with a very large package of stuff. It does not, to my knowledge, come with a DAW. So I'm not too sure what DAW I am going to be switching to, but whatever DAW I go to will be SMPTE code compliant. Even though I'm not using it right now, or when I set up the wing rack, I want to be able to learn it. And when I do get my Lumex Panasonics, if that's what I decide to go with, then I'll seamlessly be able to go to my DAW. Now I'm going to change cameras. I'm going to show you guys my global time clock.
Timothy has to go.
Who is it?
Timothy?
Okay, Timothy, thank you so much for joining into the stream. We're just kind of going over time clocks and upgrades that we're going to be doing.
And Birdman said.
I'm going to just hold the mic like this.
Birdman
Thank
said,
you so much for coming into the stream.
Birdman said if you set up in the dungeon for streams, watch the floor for flooding.
Hi. Okay. So I'm going to try to show you guys. This is my secondary rack. So here's my first Spectrum Analyzer EQ. It's a Digitech Studio 200. One Mackie VLZ 16 Pro. One power conditioner and power strip. This is my power conditioner. This is my power strip.
You got a super chat from Trucker Bob.
Ooh, thank you, Trucker Bob, for the super chat. So this, I know what you're saying. Well, that's backwards. Yes, I cut the board in half. Let me move my microphone around here. I literally cut the board. This is a PC board in here. I cut the board in half right here, and I flip the board around. That way I can plug stuff in both orientations. And if you did any studio work, you understand the concept of why this was done this way. So I have ins and outs on both sides of the patch. This is a tube mic preamp, another tube mic preamp, a DBX1, and here is the magic tool. This is a Moto, and it's a MIDI Express XT, and that is my time clock. So I can use this to set up all my SMPTE codes to control all my stuff. And of course, showing my age, this is an original Tascam DA30 Mach 1. Yeah, that recorded a lot of demo tapes. And of course, my Crown power amplifier. So that's this rack. Oh, I'm going to put you guys back up on the stand here. I apologize for the shaky because we are 100% professional here. Get you guys hooked back up. So I did actually move the mic around. I do like this Shure mic thing. I struggled with mic holders for a while. And if you remember earlier in the video, this mic thing started doing this as we were doing the video. This Shure arm boom, it works awesome. Definitely want another one, but we're on a budget. Baby steps. If you go back and watch the very first stream, the channel has changed. I think the audio's gotten better. Of course, the video's gotten a little better because I'm not doing a lot of frames per minute. We're only doing like 28 frames per minute, but I've cranked up the quality of each frame. I've found, don't stream at 60 or 40, 28's fine. That's what it's set at. And I have it set up to auto, so if I have a bad connection, it's going to reduce that down to 15. It can. But I want to try to keep the each frame at a decent resolution to where it looks better. It's about as good as I can get it with my internet connection, YouTube's compression, and so forth with the equipment I have. So let me switch cameras again. That's what I have in the rack. I'm going to try to use the Maito XT. It's a couple years old, but it's still a new component. So it can definitely control it. So basically what I'm going to get is a Blackmagic video controller. I don't need anything overly fancy, probably a 4 or 5 input, even though I'm only going to have like maybe a maximum of 3 cameras. But these are things that I need to purchase. The first thing is going to be the wing rack. We're going to work out all the bugs on that. I am going to go through a massive learning curve, but the wing rack needs a better computer. So when I get the wing rack, I may or may not be able to directly use it as soon as I receive it. I may end up having to upgrade my computer. Once I do that, I know I can be able to use the wing rack, and video processing and stuff is going to go a lot quicker. If I would have a better computer, the shared video with searching for tone would be done right now, without a doubt. I spend so much time waiting on my computer to fix and tantalize each screen and save sections. It takes twice as long. And even though I'm listening to it, it's dragging. It skips and stops. So if I watch 20 minutes of video footage, it actually takes about 35 minutes to watch it because it stops and hangs up so much. Once that's fixed, I can process videos better, and you'll get more content from the channel. But that's kind of explaining why things are the way they are. If you saw how I did it, you would be really surprised at the videos, the actual videos that I've done, that I get the quality and the sound that I'm getting out of the equipment that I'm using. Because you think I'm using a lot of this rack equipment to do that, and I really can't. I'm limited by the GoPro, okay? I can do post-processing, but then it just makes it even more complicated because I'm using free software to edit with, if that makes sense. I'm still not using a real video editing program to where I can integrate that in with my DAW, or I just can't. So I'm extremely limited. So hopefully these changes are going to make some changes. And I don't want to go too fast because YouTube is YouTube. The channel's not big enough to justify that kind of an investment, if that makes sense. And I think there's something to be said for the quality and the video quality, the audio and video quality of a small channel. I believe some people come in, and if it's too polished, they're kind of like, if that makes sense. There has to be some realism to it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's just kind of what I've seen. I'm not saying that there's not YouTube channels out there that are not highly polished that I don't respect. Hopefully, we'll get to that point where we can have high quality video, high quality audio, and it'll still be a respectable channel, if that makes sense. Like I said, I am learning, so if anyone can help me learn, whether you're good at cameras, you're good at DAWs, you're good at interfaces, I need a crash course. My first interface was this Yamaha AG08, and it will be for sale once I got my new system going. This little AG08 works great. It really does. If you want to do simple live streams, 2 microphones, it has 3 other channels that are stereo. Everything that you've seen me doing this year has been through this AG08. Works fine. I just need more inputs if we're going to do more stuff with the rack amp, modeling amps. See, I also have this little HX Stomp over here that I like to plug into occasionally. Right now I can't. I'm kind of maxed out. My board has some dead channels, so there again I'm limited. But like I said, I need some help. And so if you guys want to give this old guy some pointers, I know my strengths and weaknesses, and what I'm about to embark into is definitely a weakness. It's been 25 years since I've been in a real studio and sat down, and that was long before these new boards. ADATs and hard disk recorders were just coming out. Akai just come out with one. I can't remember the other brand that come out with one. But most people were still using ADATs, and reel-to-reel stuff. So that tells you how long it's been. Okay, guys, I don't mean to cut it too short tonight, but as I said, I do have to go to work tomorrow. I want to thank everybody for coming into the stream tonight. We've been on for 2 hours, so that's our bare minimum. We'll do 2 hours. Sometimes we do go longer.
Searching for Tone said you can't be in a pro-grade studio backdrop and be horrible like me, and you can't have your washer and dryer as your backdrop and be taken seriously. That's why I'm in the middle.
Ha! I kind of feel the same way. I mean, this is my living room, Brian. I mean, it's my living room. We don't even have a chair in the living room anymore. You used to watch it, we had a blue chair. No one sat in the blue chair. The only thing that goes on in this living room is music. I got a TV here. That TV hadn't been on in months. I just told Linnell we're going to take the TV down and we're going to just put guitar hangers over there. Why have the TV? When I do turn it on, I'm like, is this thing going to turn on? It hasn't been on in 6 months. This is the music room. It really is. Music room and exercise room. She brings her little exercisers out and sets them up in the middle of the floor and exercises. So this is the living room. And do you want to be overly taken too seriously? I'm almost scared if I went too professional, then they would just throw me under the bus. I watch some of these channels and I go down and I look at the comments and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at the comments. This guy's getting roasted. It's half roasted comments and half we love you comments. Oh my gosh, Juke.
Your setup is real and looks good. Some of the channels you see, their washer is shaking in the background.
Well, when we switch downstairs, what's funny, listen to some of my how-to videos when I'm filing frets. Go back, Brian, and listen. You're going to hear a whoosh in the background. That's the spin cycle on the washing machine on the other side of the basement. My basement's all in frame, but there's no drywall. Go back and look. You're going to see framing, but there's no drywall in any room in the basement. It's all framed and wired.
But my washer and my dryer both are very quiet now. The only thing they do is sing to me.
They do. They sing when they're done. They'll go ding dong, ding ding dong dong ding.
And I get to pick the song.
Right. She gets to pick the song, and it sends her messages. It'll. Now this is what you got a washing machine, right? The washing machine washes your clothes. So you put dirty clothes on it, the clothes come out clean, right? Well, why is the washing machine sending Linnell messages, it's time to clean me? If it's clean, how can I it's cleaning my clothes? I mean, wouldn't it keep itself clean by washing? That just blows it's like, she goes, I gotta go down and clean the washer. And I'm like, isn't it clean? Don't you put soap in it every time that it washes? How can it be dirty if you're constantly cleaning it every time it washes? I don't get that for the life of me. But yeah, it sings to her, it talks to her, and it is quieter than our older one. But if you go back and you watch some of the how-to videos, sometimes you'll hear the furnace cut on, the blower will cut on, then you'll hear this background. That's the spin cycle. A bunch of different things. So, like Brian said, I think it adds realism. Like I said, I don't do this for a living, guys. I have another job, and I believe that keeps me on track because when I spend money, I work hard for my money. Trust me. Ask Linnell. I'm either sleeping, eating, or I'm working. There is no in between. There really isn't. Do I consider YouTube work? Yeah, it is kind of work, but it's work that I enjoy. If you get to pick anything to do, try to enjoy work. I do enjoy doing YouTube once it's up and going. I don't enjoy hooking everything up every time we have to do a stream because this is the living room. And it does, it takes time. It always causes problems. But once it's up and going and hanging out with you guys, I mean, that's what it's about. I can't describe it any more than that. Now, I've seen people make comments. They come in, and this is their Saturday night thing. They want to see, Devastator or Pentagore or Guitar Bob or Steve or Searching for Tone or Stefan, whoever it is, Zach, they're, oh, I didn't get to see him this week. I want to know, something that you had a conversation about last week. I wonder how that went. And it's like family getting together and friends getting together, just talking. So to me, that's what it's about. We don't always have to necessarily be 100% reviewing a guitar every week or going over rack effects. Sometimes it can just be, hey, Devastator got a new guitar, or Pentagore. I know Pentagore has that one guitar that the gentleman I bought these IYVs off of, he has that other guitar getting ready to come up for sale. I know Pentagore already has that guitar. So asking Pentagore his thoughts on it helps me. Or anyone else that has that guitar. That's what the chat's about. A lot of guitars come here and they leave. And people go, well, what'd you think about this? Or what do you think about it now? A lot of the guitars don't stay. Well, someone else bought the guitar, then you can kind of lean on them for their opinion, if that makes sense. It's a group effort. And that is my cell phone. All right, guys. I want to thank everyone that gave a super chat. It's what keeps the channel going. It really does. It really does help. Go to Discord. We're still looking for our next giveaway. I'm going to make a decision with the group by the end of the month. We're probably just going to do a pedal giveaway this month, guys, since it's taken us so long to actually, and it's not your all's fault, it's 100% on me. I've taken on a lot at work and this collab stuff, plus the guitar service work. So I'm just kind of dragging my feet.
Birdman wants to know if the Egnator can be down in the dungeon safely on a shelf for your amp for shows. Or for shows.
It can. I do have a little amp down there that I use as my test amp. I have a little Black Star Core 10. It's not anything to say woo-hoo about, but believe it or not, it's a nice little practice amp that's super lightweight. And when we go on trips and stuff, sometimes I take that instead of the little HX Stompin' headphones. If I want an amplifier, sometimes I'll just take that little guy. It's not overly full sounding, but it does okay. It weighs all of like 3 pounds. It's a little tiny thing. It's small. So I think last time we went on a trip, I took that. Then I took the HX Stomp 2 or 3 times. And the Katana wasn't bad. out of all of them, I like the Katana the best as far as sound, but it took up more room. As far as room and sound, I like my HX Stomp, but I'm limited to my headphones. So the little Core 10 Black Star, it's small, but it doesn't give me the sound the Katana had, if that makes sense. But when I'm taking trips and everyone's cramming in, you got suitcases and stuff, it just comes down to the HX Stomp headphones. I shove that in the gig bag. It's one bag. It's my headless guitar, these headphones, and the HX Stomp all fit right in the side pocket. I put a cord in it, put my power plug in it. It's one bag, and I go, and I have fun. But during the wedding, I did take the Katana, and that little Katana really did good because we were outside on the porch, and when I played, people 5 cabins down where they had this tent set up, I knew they could hear me. And I was only at like a quarter volume.
Oh my gosh, it was so hot that day.
It was miserably hot down there then. But I was playing my Epiphone hollow body and that Katana, and man, it really sounded good outside. It really did. And it was an inexpensive rig. It did take a lot of room, but I liked it. I thought it worked great. All right, guys, again, we're going to try to make some changes on the channel. So any changes that do or don't work, you know, if you see something that's not working, please let me know. If you hear a change that is working, that you just saw we start doing, let me know. Because I'm always trying little tiny different things. There's little tiny changes in this stream as well. So no one said they noticed anything, so I'm assuming the change wasn't bad or it wasn't good enough to where anyone picked up on it. One of the two. All right, guys, we're going to do our 5-minute ending window. Again, thanks for every super chat. It really keeps the channel rolling. And 5 minutes, guys. And hopefully before Thursday, we're going to have our collab video out. If not, it'll be Saturday. I'll keep everyone posted. I'll definitely keep Brian posted. It is a very deep dive on this guitar. And we've done some new recording as far as the demo section. So I think you're going to hear an improvement in the recording. All right, guys, thanks again. You guys are terrific. And if I didn't say it again, you guys make the stream.